Being transgendered has been seen by some as a curse and by some as a blessing. It all depends on how the one who observes it determines it. The constant struggle to find oneself in a constant battle between two genders can be a very scary thing for many of us. But for some of us, it can be very liberating and bring out the true character of a person. We have all faced this struggle at one point or another in our lives. As a member of the transgender community, I believe that being transgendered is what should be uniting us all together. Being transgendered should be the common bond that unites us. In my travels to many marches and rallies, I have heard some personal stories that have outraged the masses, and some stories that would have you shedding tears. I have come from all of this with one common thread, that all of our stories at one point in time have had a very low point where we've all asked ourselves, why me? And all of us have suffered in one way or another because of this. When I decided to come out, I made a pact with myself that day that I would not be selfish, that I would want to use my experiences and newfound confidence in myself to help others. Like myself, those many years ago, that was so afraid to express who they are. In everything I do, I have always given my all to do what is right for the transgender community, for my family, and for me. Although I have not always been successful in all of my endeavors, I have always made tough decisions with the best of intentions. I have also made my fair share of mistakes just like anyone else. I am, after all, only human. What I come before all of you to speak about today is our transgender unity, or what pains me to say, the current lack of unity in our community. I have always expected resistance from the hate groups and from the mainstream at some point. Even the government, but never from ourselves. I have always envisioned our communities embracing one another through the good times and the not so good times, and never, ever turning on each other or judging one another, especially in our fight for trans equality under law. Bear with me. I have always believed that no matter what our circumstances or stations in life may be, that our community would always continue to encourage those who were too weak to stand up, and that those who were just coming into their own would learn from our example and pass on our encouragement. Over the last few years, I have witnessed the darker side of our transgender community. I have personally seen lines being drawn in the sand of our own backyards, as if one class of our community is somehow better, more deserving, or has suffered more than another. I have seen members and even organizations with our own community point fingers and place blame on others for our problems because of the way some will choose to dress and even express themselves. I have seen some of us so angry that they have judged others simply because of their successes. And I have even seen some of our community stoop so low as to make up false rumors just to discredit others just because they simply dislike that person. The time for the useless drama to end is now. The time for all of us to be united is now. And now, more than ever, if we want to be taken in a serious manner, then it is time that we started acting in a serious manner. I'm sorry, I promise I'm going to be emotional, but I find myself doing the same thing. I have bore witness to people in our community so outraged over one another that they have reverted to such things as harsh language, name-calling, digital drama on social networks, and even in some cases, threats and violence. To those who are doing this, no matter who you are or your position in our community, you are setting a bad example for all of us as a community as a whole, and it needs to stop. How can we as a community expect unity and acceptance from the government and from mainstream society if we cannot even practice it within ourselves? How can we demand respect from the government and mainstream society if we don't even show respect for ourselves? How can we expect to rise above the many hate groups and naysayers if we stoop to their level? How can we expect to move forward if all we allow is our immature behavior, harsh language, and childish insults to hold us back? Why is it deemed acceptable for us to demand equality from the government and mainstream society, yet we have drawn lines in our own backyard? Why is it deemed acceptable to yell and swear at someone over a difference of opinion and call call out our freedom of speech. Yet if someone does it to us, we cry discrimination. How is it acceptable to demand of others that we not be judged, yet we go so far as to judge people in our own community who we should be encouraging based on what name they choose to be addressed by, or by what clothes they choose to express themselves with? I assure you, how we behave and how we react to any given situation, either as a community or on our own, whether it is in person or on something as simple as a Facebook posting, will go hand in hand with how we are all going to be perceived by everyone. When a community such as ours is at the threshold of a major motion, of a major turning point, such as we are now with the transgender community being under law, everything we do and how we achieve it, and everything we say and how we say it will be scrutinized. In the end, after all is said and done, if we do fail, it will not be the fault of the government, it will not be the fault of the hate groups, and it will not be the fault of the mainstream. In the end, all it will take is for every one of us to take a long look in the mirror and place the reflection staring back at us. The fault will lie with us, all of us. Have we learned nothing? Is there any reason why we have been fighting this fight for transgender equality under law for over 30 years? We need to wake up and wise up before it's too late. Before everything we have all believed in and set out to achieve is lost. To quote the words of President Abraham Lincoln, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." If we do not, if we do not change our ways soon and truly unite, transgender equality under law will go down in history as just another unattainable dream. Is this the legacy we want to pass down our bloodline? First, we need to stop blaming the government and the mainstream. As long as the government sees us all at each other's throats, swearing at everything which we do not agree with, throwing tantrums and blaming one another for our problems, they will continue to sit back and let us all destroy ourselves and everything that we're fighting for. Those in the mainstream have their own fair share of problems in the world, and those that do not respect us are not even worth the risk to lose everything we are fighting so hard to achieve. Second, we need to stop worrying about what the hate groups are saying. They are all to discredit us and portray us as nothing but sexual deviants and perverts. Yes, of course, we're all angered by what they say and accuse us of. But when we stoop to their level, we are no better than they are. And we are ultimately hurting ourselves by setting the worst examples for all to see. Talk is cheap, but our true unity as one can and will speak volumes. Finally, we need to put an end to the in-house bickering and drama that divides us all, and start implementing the necessary steps to unify us. It is as simple as turning to the person standing next to you, giving them a hug, and saying, "I support you, what you do, and we are all in this together." We are here today for one common goal, and that goal is transgender equality under law. We, as a community, need to raise the bar by setting the example of practicing tolerance, acceptance, and encouragement for one another, regardless, before we can expect it from anyone or any place else. Unity is not out of reach. Equality is not out of reach. We only think it is because we have all endured the pains of defeat. We do have the power within us all to create change. We always have. What we need to do is decide if we, the transgender community, are truly ready to move forward as a community. I am confident that we are. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And again, thank you everybody for coming out. It's what I had to say. And especially thanks to all my sisters and my thank you, everybody. I love you all.
Wow, that was amazing. I feel like we are so lucky today to have had so many amazing, powerful, and diverse speakers from our community today.